Hey, and welcome guys. Today we just have a quick project. I have a lot going on right now, so no major projects on the way at the moment. Trying to figure out what I want to do next as far as that. So just doing a little 3D printing. I found this file on Thingiverse. This is from Star Wars. It's the Mon Calamari Cruiser. I believe the MC80 is the type. I've printed it out in a clear resin, as you can see here. Now I do want to, it's about 6.5 inches long, and I do want to try to do some lighting. I printed it hollow, and of course, like I said, with this clear resin. Now it looks like I have some resin stuck in there. I don't know if that's resin or the isopropyl alcohol I used to clean it. There are some drainage holes that are kind of down here that I can't get to yet because I wanted to show the file how I supported it. I think I just did the auto support and then added on a few more supports on Cheetah Box when I sliced it. It looks like it's came out pretty well. At least the top side looks in pretty good shape. I'm not real sure about the engine cluster down there, how well that printed out, but hopefully it'll be good enough that I won't have to do any repairs. So anyway, the plan, like I said, is to try to put some lights inside here and paint it up, and then go back and we'll light block it from the outside, go back and maybe add in some small lighting effects. So we'll see how that will work out. First thing, I'll have to remove all these supports. I'm going to be real careful with these and just use some clippers to clip away most of them and slowly take those off and see how that bottoms came out. Re-drilled some holes because apparently the holes are clogged. It's not draining that liquid. I don't know if you can see that in there or not, but there is some liquid still in there. I need to get that out. So anyway, first thing first, let's get these supports off. Alright, I removed the supports and was able to get the liquid that was out, and it was this alcohol that had seeped in through a couple of holes and just wasn't getting its way out. I've made one of the holes bigger. I plan on putting at least one LED inside there to try to light it up. I've tried to just clean it up. I need to put a coat of primer on it so I can kind of see any kind of surface defects that need to be cleaned up. Some of the supports where I nipped off, I know it's just hard to really tell what needs work right now with this clear coat on. So I'm going to put a coat of primer and start working on the body on any sections that need to be smoothened out or addressed. Alright, after quite a bit of sanding and several coats of primer, I think I'm ready to start working on the paint job. There was quite a few rough spots even on the bottom. I think the bottom's still a little rough, but since it's mostly not going to show, and I'm going to try to camouflage it with the paint job, I mostly wanted to smoothen out these areas up here. Now, I was researching this particular design. It is, for what I can tell, an MC80 variant, but it's not one like the Home One or the Liberty type. It's I forgot the other name that I found. But it is obviously a Mon Calamari ship. Just want to point that out in case anybody was going to be questioning that. Anyway, from here I'm going to put on a couple of coats of flat black for light blocking purposes, and then from there I'll be putting on an off-white base color. So we'll just work on getting that done. Alright, I painted my base coat first with this light gray, US AAF light gray from my wire, then mixed in a little bit of this German black brown to kind of add in some splotchy areas with my airbrush to kind of break up the uniform paint on that. And as you can see, I have a lot of dots all over it. I've just used some light gray and some of this acrylic terracotta to start breaking up the pattern even more. Now this is very stark. I don't plan on keeping it like this. What I'm going to try to do now is filter a little bit, maybe do a very light coat with this light gray again to kind of unify the surface here, and then add some filters and washes to kind of blend it all in. So just want to show you right here. I know it looks kind of strange with those bright polka dots. I think once we blend it in, they'll give it a nice kind of broken pattern that you see on those ships. Right, as you can see, I've gone back over and added some more detail. Added some more orange to it. This time I went with this orange red to add the different spots over it. So now we have, I think we're developing some different layers of paneling going on, or at least different textures in our ship. I've also went over and added kind of a wash that I made just from some of this burnt sienna oil. And I just mixed that in with some of this enamel thinner, made a very light wash, put it over it, and then after it dried, rubbed off the excess, and then did a clear matte coat to kind of protect that. So from here I'm getting close to being done with all the painting, but I am going to do a little bit more detail. I'm going to do some dry pastels, do some darker colors to further kind of dirty it up and add a little bit more interest to it. And from there we'll start drilling out some of the windows. Hopefully that will turn out. So I hope I'm liking the way it's looking, and we'll just keep going forward with this. Alright, I'm about close to finishing this small project. As you can see, I did a little bit more detail work on it. I thought it was just looking a little too plain, so I actually took this regular pencil and started just drawing in some panel lines very lightly, just enough to kind of add some detail when you look close into it. I've also added some wear marks in it, and I've started drilling out the holes for all of our windows. Maybe I did that on the last video, but I've added or completed all the holes, and I've now installed the lighting. I have 3 of these 3mm white LEDs going up into it. I tried to get one to point forward, one back, and one kind of sitting right in the middle to get the best lighting that I could. So from here, I'm going to do a little bit more detailing. I'm going to put a flat coat on it, and then I'm going to attach it into this base I made, which is this piece of it's actually a PVC pipe grate cover, which I've had to use a piece of styrene plastic kind of cover that part of it, and painted it with some texture paint. Just something really simple. I'll probably just have the switch on the inside where I can click it on inside, so I don't have to worry about drilling out any holes or anything of that nature. Just keeping it really simple. It's a pretty small, pretty basic little model. So anyway, pretty happy how it's coming out, and we'll take a look at the finished model in just a second. Alright, well here's my finished Mon Calamari Cruiser. I'm really happy with how it came out. I finished up doing a little bit more detailed painting. After that I applied one of my favorite matte varnish. This is the Vallejo Mecha Collection matte varnish to dull it all down. I think it gives it a nice dull look to it and really kind of brings it out. I drilled in all the windows just using little pin vise with a couple different sizes of drill bits. And the lighting came out pretty good. Now the engine lighting is not super bright, and there's a little bit of leakage in the very back, but overall it does give the effect of an engine lighting going on, especially if there's multiple engines. So I'm pretty pleased with that. As you can see that in the back, we get some. It was really hard to get back there, and I really can't get that closed off very well. Maybe some tulip paint or something along those lines. If I can get it back in there, I may do that in the future. But I'm not too worried about it. It's not terribly noticeable. The windows came out pretty good. It had a couple of mishaps with the drill bit that I had to kind of fix. The drill bit on this rounded surface wanted to slide up right here. I had a little part. That's why that's. I wanted to do some darker spots anyway, so I ended up having to do one right here because the drill bit kind of slid up and made like a huge, gigantic window. Another one happened right here. I decided just to leave it and make it just a big window right there. So a couple little mishaps, but overall not very noticeable. Again, really pleased with how the paint job came out. I think it kind of captures the spirit of a Mon Calamari Cruiser. And well, that's about it. Simple project, a lot of fun, and I think it makes for a nice little display. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Until next time, everybody have a good one.